good day, everyone. We, of course, are glad you guys could join us again for another Talk It Over. I know we had a little break there for Mother's Day, but I think it's important that we celebrate our mothers and take that time to just spend with them and just enjoy that time and get to celebrate just all the mothers in the world.
Totally.
So we are back this week again, continuing in our series of being there, not been, being there. This week we're in week 7. We've got one more week, week 8, which again is looking to be really good. And then we're getting into a whole new series and leading up to At the Movies, which of course is a lot of fun. But before we dive into this week's message, we'll do a little catch up. Of course, I'm Ian. With me this week is Michaela. Of course, glad to have you.
Thank you.
So how's the past week or so been for you? Anything new and exciting happening?
Let's see. This past week, I only worked for like 3 days.
Okay.
And then our organization does like an annual spiritual retreat for 2 days.
Yeah.
And they bring in like an author. We get to talk about like his book. They had like sent us the book before so we could prepare for it. And so, kind of had like worship time together as an organization, like only like a 4-hour day, like Thursday, Friday, which was really nice. We had very focused like self-reflection time for a couple hours each day, which was really good for me to just focus on like, what does God have for me? What is he calling me to do in this season? Just being able to also rest and do different things that fill us. So if that's like crafting, reading, walking. So it's been a really good week, honestly. And then also going into this long weekend, being able to get some stuff done, be very productive, also just have like some moments of like fun stuff to do. So I would say it's been a really good week for us.
Yeah.
How about for you?
Awesome. Long weekend's been good. Been able to, get out, get some plants, get some of the outside garden stuff done and that. And got another project in the basement done, constructed a small wall that we put up. So I put that up yesterday and
wow.
It's just been things like that. It's just been good. I had a doctor's appointment this week, so just an annual check. So I had that up in Toronto. So that was a there and back drive of number of hours to get there and back, but I got that all done, which was good. And then unfortunately injured my arm, so it's got to make the appointment this week for doctor, see if we can get in and get a bit more diagnosis. But hopefully we'll figure it out. I think I have a rough idea of what it might be, but we're just got to get a bit more of a professional opinion. I'm of course no doctor. So
is that your dominant hand?
It is. Unfortunately, it is my dominant hand, and the symptoms that I've had and connecting a few other the dots there over the past while with some grip problems, looking to more possibly like a tennis elbow problem, which I don't play tennis, but my job leads me into very similar issues that people that play tennis have. And so it's if that's the case, I've got some tendon and some muscle issues in my arm that I'm going to have to get addressed to try to get them healed and better so it doesn't get any worse. But other than that, things have been good. Weather's been excellent this past week. We've had beautiful weather up here. It's been really nice. It's been just cool enough in the morning that you have a little sweater on, but then by the end of the day you can be kind of in shorts and t-shirt and just enjoy the rest of the afternoon, which has always been good. So long weekend. It's been nice to have, and it's not snowing for, I don't know, usually we've had a lot of snow on this long weekend in past years, or torrential rain, and this year it's actually been sunny and nice, so it's been really, really good.
Totally.
So I don't know where you guys are watching. Maybe you have the same long weekend we do here in Canada. Maybe you don't. If that's okay, you'll have another long weekend, I'm sure, very shortly. But let us know how your weeks have been, how things have been going. If you've had really good weather, maybe some not so good weather. Maybe you've had some fun and exciting things or news that's come through, or maybe something that's been really difficult. And we'd love to connect with you, pray for you, and just kind of help you on your journey in any way that, of course, we can. But to do that, you got to leave a comment. We got to know that you're there so that we can be doing those things for you. Being there. Today's message title: Break the Anger Cycle. Ooh. And again, a very strong one. Something I think all of us deal with in some form is anger. And how do we deal with it? How do we deal with it in the right way and not sin when we have anger? So excellent message. We had Pastor Sam this week, just doing the message. Excellent, excellent message. I think he explained it really well this week. I quite enjoyed generally just the way he brings messages, brings a bit of story into it, some of his life, and then right into scripture as well with a lot of that truth, which has always been really good. So
always brings in his Latin culture.
Yeah. He brings just again a different perspective.
Yeah,
that I quite enjoy, and it's always nice to have different speakers to bring those different perspectives in on different topics.
I agree. Yeah.
So kind of the definition of anger is an emotion characterized by tension, hostility, arising from frustration, real or imagined injury by another, or a perceived injustice, something that's caused you to just build that emotion of anger, that frustration, and how that looks. Pastor Sam gave us the cycle of anger, kind of how that works, where we start with some kind of an offense, something that's hurt us in some way. From there, that plants a seed inside us, which then grows a root, something that goes deep and can really hold on to us and keep us in this emotion of anger. And then we tend to have an outburst of some form, whatever that might be. It varies depending on what that offense might be. And we just kind of keep in that cycle, and then another offense, another seed, another root, another outburst. And we tend to fall into that cycle and get caught in that, which really can be really, really difficult. Pastor Sam gave us kind of 3.5 ways to break the anger cycle. The first one was discover. Then we have disclose and deny. So our discover is, why am I mad? What's causing me to be angry? What is bringing up this frustration or this emotion? We have disclose, so talk about it. And he really touched on the life group. That's a really great one to be able to kind of bring that up, discuss, talk about, find support with the people in the group to really help you work through the anger and the frustration. Again, talking to a professional, a counselor, is another great way to work through that anger, that emotion. So again, excellent ways. Deny. We have deny your flesh. So not giving into sin and converting that anger, frustration, and bringing it out in a sinful way. And that, again, that can come out in many different ways. In words, something physical, can be giving somebody the cold shoulder, and just really being distant or drawn away from them. Can be a way of having an outburst and giving into that anger and that emotion. Our 0.5 way is to dance.
I love it.
and again, he brought that with the Latin background about dancing and just really just embracing what's around you and just trying to work through it, but being in a happier way to kind of move through that frustration and that emotion. So yeah, excellent message. If you haven't had a chance to watch the previous ones, I urge you guys, go back. We've got them all on our YouTube channel at LifeNorth.Church. You can watch right from the beginning of this series and even further back into previous series and get all the way caught up, and just be able to dive into these messages, of course, deeper as we go through our Talk It Over. Our scripture today comes from Ephesians 4:26. In your anger, do not sin. Do not let the sun go down while you are still angry. I think that's a big one, because I think a lot of times we can, again, in what we would say the sun going down would be going to bed angry, whether that's with a spouse, a coworker, a friend, a different family member, and just allowing that anger, that frustration to sit in you and not trying to clear it up or try to rectify the problem or whatever that offense might be, and just allowing it to kind of simmer. And I think that really can, again, it plants that seed, that root grows deeper the longer it stays in the dark, and not bringing it into the light and talking about it. So our first question today, which I think is a very interesting one, which I know for us being married and for any other married couples out there, this one can really drum up, especially in those first, few months, 6 months of marriage, even up to the first year of marriage, can really bring these to light that maybe you weren't quite aware of. But what's one pet peeve you have?
Oh man, it's hard for me to think of what that one pet, because there's so many.
There is,
and some can be definitely like simple, more complex. But I think for me, one of them would be, when I'm shopping online, I'm preparing to go to a store in person, and I'm looking for this particular item. It says that it's, in stock, and I can go there, and it'll be there. And I go there, and it's not there, and it's like, oh, out of stock, and, just, I guess just a bit of pet peeve, because I've wasted my time, of like going to that store, also like looking at it beforehand. I get excited about, I get to, buy this item, and then it's not there. Mm-hmm. And for me, I love shopping. Yep. So especially when it's like a clothing item, I'm like, ooh. Yep.
And then it's like on sale too.
And it's on sale. Oh gosh, I love things on sale. Yeah. It's like, doesn't last very long, but like maybe sometimes I'll think about it. Oh, I just wish I could have got that sweater.
Yeah. Yeah, and that online saying it's there, and then you go and, oh, I'm sorry, we don't have that.
Yeah.
But it says right here, it's here, right?
I guess the system's not updated live, so you know.
Those are difficult. Yeah, definitely. I've run into a bunch of those, and that's a difficult one because you get excited for the anticipation of they have it finally, I can go get it, and then the disappointment on that. It's a roller coaster of emotions.
Totally.
And I can definitely agree with you on that one. Yeah.
What's one for you?
Oh, as you said, there's so many. There's so many. Maybe I'm a person that just gets irked by a lot of things. I don't know. That's just maybe one of those things. But for me, the one that has stood out for years, and it's been rectified now, but when I first got married, again, it's a marriage one, toothpaste. Oh my goodness. It sounds so silly that I think about it and I'm like, this is so silly, and why would I get so just like irked about it? But not squishing the toothpaste from the bottom of the tube. It just was like it annoyed me. It really did. Because I was always from the bottom, and my wife was just like, just grab it and just squish it wherever. And I was like, what are you doing? Why is this? Why?
So I guess you guys shared toothpaste.
We did. Yeah, we did. Okay. We used the same toothpaste, surprisingly.
That's the problem. You need your own tubes.
So and it was just weird because she would squeeze it in the middle, and then I would sit there and I just roll it up and squeeze it back up to the top.
Wow.
It was one of those things, and I would mention it and nothing. And eventually we sorted it all out. It was fine. But it's those small things, right? Those small things can really irk us, and it can drum up emotion that really, it's really not that big of a deal, right? But yet we find ourselves just getting really emotional, frustrated over something super minor, that in like the bigger picture of things really doesn't matter in the big picture of life by any means. But for some reason we take it personally. And it's hard to explain why we take it personally, but we just seem to. So let us know in the chat, guys. What is that for you? What's that pet peeve? Maybe it's like me. Maybe it's a spousal thing where it's just that little thing with the toothpaste, or another one is you turning off the lights. Just turn off the lights. I run around the house turning off the lights all the time.
You need smart lights. Hey Siri, turn off the lights.
Yeah, I know. It's I always need to do that, but maybe it's something like that. Maybe it's something small like that where it's a very small minor thing, but yet it tends to bug you. Or maybe it's a letdown. It's something. Hey, this is available. This is here. Let's go get it, and then it's not there. And you've now spent the time to go and do, and now you've missed out on that because things weren't correct. Right. So let us know, guys, in the chat what that might be for you. We would, of course, love to hear some of these. I'd be very curious to see what some of them are, because I'm sure I share a bunch with probably a bunch of you. But anyway, all right. So this message, excellent message today. So was there an impactful part for you, Michaela, that really kind of stood out, for you?
I think I can fall into like the emotion of being angry is wrong.
Yep.
First of all, I don't like feeling angry because, like, you know, your whole, like, my body just tenses up. I can get emotional, like my head hurts, there's pressure, and it's like, whoa, what is going on? It's like going all the way from my toes all the way up to the top of my head, and I'm just like, I'm feeling this, and it's like, it's a passion almost, you know, of like, oh, I'm justified with my anger. And I appreciate that, you know, Sam unpacked that Jesus had anger, and so the emotion itself is not wrong, it's what we choose to do with it. And how he said, like, oh, I forgot exactly what he said, but just talking about, like, you can have, I guess, like, a rational reason for why you're angry, but you don't have a right to sin. And I struggle with that of, like, okay, well, I'm angry and I'm justified, you know, I've been hurt, you know, A, B, C, D, and then I think, like, well, how am I going to react? And sometimes I don't even think about it, I just react. And trying to work through, like, okay, I want to recognize what are those triggers that get me angry and frustrated. And honestly, it's for, like, today we were singing a song of, like, created me a clean heart, oh God. And I just think, like, wow, I need to say that and ask for that every single day, moment by moment. Because I can get very hard-hearted and just dwell on that anger, and it can turn into bitterness, which I don't want. And so, yeah, just being able to work through, like, those 3.5 things that he said with breaking, you know, the cycle of anger. Yeah, it's tricky. It's very humbling to share with someone that you're dealing with, like, an anger. And of course, at different levels. I would say I struggle with an anger problem sometimes. And I'm trying to figure out, like, what has caused that, whether it's, like, past experiences or just, like, constant hurt from, you know, the same person over and over again. Being able to forgive even if they don't say sorry, like, all of that is really hard. So yeah, this was a really good message, and honestly, when I heard that it was going to be a part of this series last week, I was like, all right, God, I know you're talking to me. Yeah, it was good.
So are you kind of like Sam there, where, like, when he didn't want to come for the one, like, I don't want to be here today, I think we'll skip today kind of thing? Is that feeling there?
It's like, ooh, like, I feel that, and that, like, it just felt personal with the things that he was talking about. So and it's good. I'm aware of it. I know that that's something I struggle with. So now it's just like, how do I respond, and how can I heal from what is causing that anger and let go of it? And it's a journey.
It is. It's a big journey. But yeah, the first step, of course, is recognizing it and kind of, you know, saying, hey, you know, I see there's an issue here that we need to address and look at, and what's a healthy way to start working through that, which is, again, always that first step as we move into that journey. For me, oh man, I like when Sam's talking about that, you know, anger comes out from a deeper rooted issue, something that's really been hurt. Because I think, again, I know we get, you know, we talk about hurts and things, and, you know, the one about abuse, and that abuse comes in many different forms and can really trigger different things. And I never thought it would trigger anger. But when Sam was talking about, no, it does come from generally something deeper, from a past hurt or something else that triggers that feeling, and then it comes out in anger. And yeah, that just kind of stood out to me, because again, it's one of those things I generally don't connect to a deeper rooted problem of anger, that something from the past, something I've been offended by or hurt by, causes me to be angry. But yeah, it was good the way he broke it down and just kind of went through what does that look like, and why we need to, again, be dealing with it in a healthy way, not a sinful way. And I thought that was big too, that yeah, we can, it's not a sin to be angry, but it's what you do with the anger is where it determines whether you're heading to a sinful choice or you know, a healthier God choice in dealing with the anger. So yeah, I thought that was really good. Okay, so again, going through this week's message, how does it feel to know that Jesus dealt with anger? Because we saw that in some of the scripture today. And what can you learn from the way he handled his emotion?
Whew. Yeah, that's tricky. And Pastor Sam talked about like when we think of Jesus being angry, we think of him like flipping the tables. And I'm like, all right, so what is that like? Is that a good way to express your anger, like a righteous way? I mean, obviously Jesus didn't sin, and so like, what does that look like for each of us? Not wanting, like, I don't want to have those outbursts where I just start like yelling or like. Yep. Like sometimes it's swearing or like those like really unhealthy habits that could be just like your go-to, your tendency. Yeah, I don't know. I think I've been talking to my counselor about like even just emotional self-regulation. So even if it's not anger, it could be other emotions too that are just like bottling up inside of me where I'm just ready to like explode and burst. And how do I handle those? Just talking about like grounding techniques. And just thinking about like Jesus was like in constant conversation with God. And in the heat of the moment of like emotions are just running wild, I want to say that my go-to would be like just prayer or stepping back. And oftentimes it's not. It's just like, I'm just going to lay it on you. If you're the person that has caused that anger, mainly my husband, like, for other people, I don't feel maybe as comfortable to just outburst in front of them. But I want to be able to step back, honestly breathe. Pastor Sam was kind of talking about just like breathing techniques. It makes a big difference. Instead of just like, like, yeah, you have caused this, and you're the problem and all of that. Like you can say all kinds of nasty stuff when you're angry. And Jesus didn't do that. And so I want to be able to have that, like, I guess that awareness of those triggers and then being able to like, give them to God, ask the Holy Spirit to just calm me down and not get so like, like worked up, I guess, by my emotions.
Yeah, I like the technique that Pastor Sam gave. Is his 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3. What the heck's wrong with me? Again, it sounds funny, but it changes the mood. Because it's this kind of this happy, whimsical thing, and it just seems to change the mood. And I think it's a good technique that definitely can work for some people to really take that breath when sometimes that breathing doesn't help, where they just continue to get worked up. Something like that, where you actually have to think about what you're saying and can really maybe change that mood. I thought that was kind of interesting, just him just expressing that technique that he had from his father, and I thought that was pretty good. Yeah,
which is kind of connected to that Tim Keller quote.
Yes.
And he was talking about like, what am I really getting offended about? Like what am I just like, what was so important to me that I just have to like hold on to it?
Yep.
Like, oh, this whole like self-justified kind of thing. Yeah, it's hard to work through those things when you feel justified.
Yeah. And then we try to self-justify why it's okay or why it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And try to make it seem like it's okay, but.
Yeah. What does that look like for you?
Oh, it's interesting because we think about Jesus flipping the table in a very not graphic, but a very depictive way of what he was doing with the emotion. But then again, in the other scripture there, he just has a very angrily look at the Pharisees, and I thought that was very interesting because I think he was talking about moms have a look, and then dads do too. I've been told I have the very disappointed dad look that happens when I'm disappointed in something. And I just picture Jesus giving them that disappointed dad look at them, and I just see that where they know he's frustrated, he's upset with them, but he's not having an outburst. He's not going any flipping tables or going very dramatic in the expression of his anger. But knowing that Jesus dealt with anger and dealt with it in ways that we can all relate to, I think helps us to understand that he was human too. He was here. He was real. He was, just like us, with emotion, with feeling. And sometimes that can get the best of us. It can allow us to go down paths that, aren't as healthy for us to choose. So just knowing that, I think is a big just a big step to really, again, to continue to connect with Jesus, knowing that he dealt with it just like we do.
Yeah.
But again, just, and I guess that kind of ties into, just learning from that, that, we can be angry, but we don't have to sin to be angry. And Jesus didn't sin. So if he's angry, it didn't sin, then that means I can definitely, not sin too when I'm angry. So just, again, knowing that, I think just helps to understand that, there's better and healthier ways for us to deal with it than just to be outburst, just explode, right?
Yeah.
I think it's a great reminder to let us know that we have better ways to cope, better ways to deal with emotion and anger.
Yeah, honestly, that makes me think of the verse about like how, this spiritual battle that we're in, it's not against like flesh and blood, but against like evil principalities. And I can get so caught up in like, if someone has hurt me, I can just get like really angry or like bitter with them. And it's like revenge, like
Yep.
that's kind of just like as part of human nature.
Yep.
Like I'm going to get back at them because they hurt me or they hurt someone I love. And seeing Jesus, like, being nailed to the cross and, like, looking down at the people who had crucified him and saying, like, they don't know what they're doing, like, God forgive them, it just blows my mind. Because he could have called, like, thunder down and, like, we're going to just take out all these people.
Yeah, easily.
Right? But he didn't. And even with his encounters with the Pharisees, as you were talking about, like, he could have done all kinds of different things with the power that he has to them, but he didn't. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's very powerful.
It's
certainly
and very counterculture too.
Yeah, exactly, of what we would expect we need to do, right? So
yeah.
All right, I think we got time for one more here. So can you share about some ways you typically handle anger, and what would look different in your life if you chose to pray the next time you were angry?
Some ways I handle anger. I guess some of the things that Pastor Sam was listing, I could relate to those. So one would be like withholding love or affection for someone. And it's just like, well, you hurt me, like, or like you're the enemy and I don't want to give you love. I don't want to serve you in this way. Which I guess could sometimes be like a bit passive aggressive, which is honestly one of my tendencies sometimes. Again, with some people more than others, those that I feel most comfortable, I guess, to express, those kind of emotions to. But I think about, in terms of how it would look different if I were to pray in those moments or when I have those emotions. And I've done that. I remember just one vivid, like, reminder or, like, memory, I guess, of I was, like, really disappointed and upset. And I was walking back home and I was like, I don't want to dwell on this, and I was like, okay, I'm going to breathe and I'm going to ask the Holy Spirit to just, I'm going to breathe and I'm going to think of 5 things I'm thankful for.
Okay, yeah.
So I started to do that as I'm breathing. I'm like, I'm thankful for this, I'm thankful for that. Very simple things, but it calmed me down. And then I was able to, like, come home and not be, like, angry where I'd be, like, stomping my feet. People would know when I'm at home that when I'm angry.
You have heavy feet.
Yeah, very heavy feet. Michaela's not happy. But I didn't, in that moment, like, just being challenged to, like, I can acknowledge I'm angry, I'm upset, but I don't have to dwell on it. And it doesn't have to ruin the rest of my day. So that was powerful. I mean, I wish that was my regular, go-to. Unfortunately, it's not, but working on that.
Yeah, it's learning. It's learning what to do, right? And it's a journey on becoming healthier in dealing with anger, emotions, things like that, right? It's not a one and done. I've solved it. It just
I wish,
right? Yeah, I think we all could wish that a one and done would be amazing. That done, we got it, it's solved. But no, it's a constant journey. It's a constant walk. And continuing to learn that we still have lots to learn in dealing with emotion and anger and other things like that. That it's not just a one and done, unfortunately.
Right. It's true.
Typically deal with anger. This is a tough one. Spousal things is definitely kind of what Sam was saying. Cold shoulder. That's definitely where it would go. Cold shoulder. Becoming silent, that generally happens with people around me. I'll get very silent if I'm frustrated with them in some way. Younger years would have been I was literally like a pop bottle. I would shake, and then I would literally explode. And it was not physically violent, but definitely verbally violent. And I can attest that it's not healthy. It's definitely not healthy. It's not the right way to deal with things. And certainly carried that through even into the first beginning years of my marriage was still the same. It was very hard to deal with anger and not being able to deal with it in the right way. I would just hold it, be silent, and then explode. And it was bad. It was bad. I certainly, certainly not happy about it. I don't like that part of me at that time, because it wasn't good. It wasn't healthy. But dealing with things now is much different. I'm coming into a very different way over the years now of walking through how do I deal with things in a different way that are healthier. And again, it's why the first question now is, why am I offended? What's the point here? Why is this a problem? Which is what Sam was describing about identifying what's the issue. And if it's something, wife left dishes or didn't clean something up, and then I come home and I got to do dishes before I start dinner, cook dinner, and now I got to redo dishes again. It's like all of a sudden it's just like a switch, and it triggers me. But then I'm like, why is this a problem? Why am I frustrated? Why am I upset? Why is this a problem? She still has things to do today. She has to go to work during the day. So why am I expecting this all to be done when we're both working, we're both doing things, right? And so I have to change that perspective, because I'm like, it's not like she's doing this on purpose to trigger me. And sometimes that's how it feels. It's like doing this, you're doing it to trigger me. Yeah. But you're not doing this to trigger me. You're busy and you're doing other things too, just like I do other things as well. So try to have that different perspective, that different look on, why am I having a problem? What is the problem?
Yeah, that's good.
And the second step, it's a little harder. Discussing those things, trying to work through that. Why is this, bringing it to light. Why is this a problem? Why is this it's again, that's one of those constant ones I know I have to continue to keep working on, because sometimes I just don't want to talk about it and don't want to discuss it. So bringing that to light is one of those things that I definitely have to continue working on. That's for sure for me where I need to work on. But certainly that prayer, I think, is a big one, where just start praying. What am I thankful for? Why am I here? Try to get that mind shift from the negative to the positive. And I think that makes a huge difference. I've found that where, it's not every time I go there, that's not always the first place I go, but again, on that, working on that journey and such, we work on that and implementing that prayer and looking at, okay, God, what am I trying to do here? Why is this, why am I upset? What can we do to make this better, so I can get out of this back into a normal headspace? So.
Yeah. Isn't it? It's kind of sad. I'm just thinking, like, how the closest people in our lives, it's very easy. I mean, of course, we can be probably our most, like, honest and real selves, but also we can just be, like, really short with them. And, you work with clients. I've worked in the customer service world, and when I'm talking with customers and I'm getting frustrated or angry, like, I'm not going to spew at them or outburst. I'm literally praying through it of, like, God, give me patience, give me grace.
Yep.
But then when it comes to people in my life, it's like, why am I just so quick to, outburst and not have that same posture of, I need to pray through this.
Yep.
So interesting. And just, thinking about what that looks like.
It's different. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is different, but it's something that we need to carry into every area of our lives, right?
Exactly.
With everybody that's around us, that we need to be in that mindset of pray first before anything else, right?
Yeah, totally.
Allow God to work in us to change that emotion into a much healthier way for us to express it and work through it.
Yes.
Totally. Excellent message today. By far a great one. If you haven't watched it, I do recommend you go see it. Pastor Sam did a wonderful job this week. So we want to thank you guys for joining us. We've come to the end of our time here. So we just want to thank you. We appreciate you guys just kind of tuning in and being a part of what we do here each and every week. We want to thank Tech Team, of course, behind us, making this all possible and available for you guys, just to have access to it all the time. So we just want to thank you, and we hope you guys have a great day. And we remember, whoever finds God finds life.